All right. Well, welcome to the R&R show. Sit back and relax and enjoy the best little sports show ever. I'm your host, Michael Roope, and on the other side of this camera is my co-host, William Rumsey. Hello, William.
Who day?
All right. Well, William and I thought we should get together for this Titanic matchup for a little Monday night football. Kick off the new year on a high note with a big time matchup between our beloved Cincinnati Bengals against the Buffalo Bills. And correct me if I'm wrong, William. I believe this is the first matchup between the Bills and the Bengals at Cincinnati since their playoff run to go to the Super Bowl back in what 88.
I shall not correct you. That is
Yep.
correct, oh wise one. And as far as the Titanic matchup is Josh Allen the iceberg?
Yeah. Well, let's hope that he is not the iceberg. Hopefully, he's the Titanic, and we're the iceberg.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But no, man. I mean, this. Everybody's pumping. This is the biggest regular season game, obviously, of this year. But I think all the numbers bear out, like the amount of wins coming into the game, the amount of touchdowns from the quarterbacks. Defenses are playing well. I mean, there's a number one seed potentially on the line. That's probably not going to happen because the Chiefs are probably going to sew it up with that cupcake schedule coming down the stretch.
I'm not about that, by the way.
Well, okay.
The Chiefs have not looked good down the stretch, and they have been playing down to their competition left and right. And the Raiders gave them all they could handle earlier this year on a Monday night game, and I think I'm not so sure that that the Raiders don't. They look damn good against the Niners.
And Jarrett Stidham, you trust, right?
I would like to think so. Boy,
okay.
Nice way to start off the new year to sew up a number one seed.
Oh man, that so just to talk about the game tonight. I mean, it's going to be warm weather, but I think it's going to rain, so that'll add a wrinkle. But I think the jungle is going to be insane for that game. The Bills are going to be walking into an environment that is going to be like a playoff game, obviously. And the Bengals fans, it's just going to be nuts.
I will tell you this, William. And we went, to the opening Pittsburgh game, and if you remember correctly, the people that we were talking to had stated that they, to get into Longworth, people were lined up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and there was a lot just stretched for miles to get in there. Now you fast forward to tonight's game, and it's a late start, obviously a little bit later than usual at 8:30 from what I read. So now you've got these diehard rabid Bengal fans drinking, and pretty much you're having a whole day. I don't even know what time Longworth will open up today, but
it's probably open now.
Yeah. I bet people are getting hammered down there, and they are going to be raucous. They're going to be full throat. It's going to be a pretty neat scene.
And I think to add another wrinkle to it, you got Bills Mafia, all that dumb shit where they jump on top of tables, So Bengals fans, they're going to want to top that. They're going to want to go viral. So it's hard telling what's going to go on down there.
Yeah, and quite frankly, this game has captivated the country because this is the biggest Monday night game since the Niners-Broncos, when Broncos Elway ended up winning the Super Bowl there on Monday night. This is the best records, the most wins between two teams since that, however long ago that was. Mm-hmm. So the country's captivated. ESPN, I think you'd even posted maybe like showing ESPN's not even giving the Bengals any credit. They're showing that the Bills are going to throttle them, and I think the Bengals are fired up about this.
The national media still doesn't give the Bengals respect at all. Bill Barnwell, ESPN's number one football writer, put his All-Pro team out today, 50 positions on the All-Pro team that he has. Or not 50%, but I think he put top 50 players or something. I don't know, but he didn't have any Bengal on the All-Pro team. That's like an 11-4 team in the running for the number one seed, he didn't have any Bengal. Bengals have to know that. And then you've got, people all over, this is the Bengals time. They better get it done because they're not going to have a run of greatness just because they're the same old Bengals. So they're getting shit on, which I think we kind of like that as Bengals fans.
We do because of, this is the same recipe as last year. The media shit on them all the way through the playoffs, and now they ain't next week they're just not going to be able to do it. And they answered that bell every time, and I think they're going to do it again. Talking a little bit about this, getting to being disrespected. That line has now swelled up to 3.
Is it 3?
It's up to 3 now.
Wow.
So
wow.
Else is not giving the Bengals credit, and big mistake. Bengals are at home. I need to remind them they're at home, and they've beaten all these so-called contenders, week after week down this stretch, and it's crazy how the limited amount of respect that the Bengals are getting.
Well, and then in their last 23 games, they're 20-3 against the spread. So the odds makers aren't real good when it comes to the Bengals. And I mean, tonight's game is just, the Josh Allen wrinkle is going to be the most interesting matchup for me to see what they're going to do, because we've got 2 really, really good linebackers that I think match up quite well.
I don't going to be able to run on these Bengals. That's Josh Allen's calling card, and that's the one thing that the Bengals defense have really been able to hang their hat on. Especially with with everybody back in the fold with Reader and that up there, they've been able to stop the running attack and especially any running quarterbacks. Even Lamar had some running against this Bengals team.
Yeah, and it's the Bills have been running the ball really well of late, which is interesting because they've got Devin Singletary, they've got James Cook, who they drafted. Stephon Diggs has really struggled the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks. Gabe Davis, he's been hit and miss, more miss, I think. So Dawson Knox has picked it up a little bit for the Bills and their passing. It's just an interesting time because I don't think the Bills are playing that great.
No.
They've won 6 in a row.
But it hasn't been impressive.
No.
And it kind of like the Chiefs. They both have been kind of like, now they're winning, but they're winning ugly.
Yeah.
And quite frankly,
the Bengals the last 2 weeks have won ugly as well.
But you know what? I'll temper that a little bit. I think that they took the especially against New England, I just think they took the foot off the gas a little bit. And I think the La'el Collins injury took a little bit out of their sails. So
it was a little fluke. I agree. That second half was a little fluky because Irwin missed that touchdown pass by. It was a beautiful ball. It was just a little bit long for him. He couldn't reel that in. And then they got pretty much what I call a Hail Mary. Pass by
stuff. Fluky stuff. But I'll just tell you right now, William, if Buffalo is not able to run tonight, I really think we're going to put on a show. And I'll just tell you why, because Josh Allen, for all the accolades he gets, deservedly so, he has been making a ton of mistakes. And I think the Bengals are going to pounce on those mistakes just for the simple fact, if he cannot rely on that run with his legs and stuff, and if they shut that down, I have always said this, Josh Allen is fairly erratic. He's got a big cannon arm, but he's erratic, and I think the Bengals will capitalize on that, especially with a full throat, stadium. And if they're not able to communicate, I just don't see any which way where the Bengals don't win this game.
No, Josh Allen's turned the ball over quite a few times, interceptions and fumbles. So he's pretty, I still think his elbow, I don't know, maybe that's an excuse, but I think in the middle of the year he hurt his elbow. I think that had a little bit of effect. He's going to get I think he's going to get his a little bit tonight, but Burrow, in his career, when he's had big games, he's come out and played great. So what say you about the Bengals offense tonight?
Well, I'll tell you right now that the huge question is the tackle position. Who how that position performs, how they're going to block it up, give him some help. Now, the good thing for us is obviously the Bills don't have Von Miller. That could have been a big time, mismatch. Now they don't have him. And I read some articles where Tyler Boyd says, hey, the Bills secondary is pretty vanilla. I mean, they're pretty they just it's not a tough scheme to X and O and figure out. So I just think I don't see any way where Burrow doesn't put on a show for everybody. I mean, he is just progressively, through the year, ever since coming back from surgery and shaking off that rust, he's been lights out, and I just don't see where he doesn't put on a show for the country and the Cincinnati faithful tonight.
Yeah, well, Buffalo's got Jordan Poyer, the safety. I think he's a game time decision. He's pretty good safety. Tre'Davious White's kind of, huh?
I don't care.
All right.
Yeah,
And then they've got, but they're second. I mean, they have Tre'Davious White. He's kind of coming back from an injury. He hasn't been lights out this year. They've got Elam on the other side, who's a rookie. So I agree with you. I think he's going to light up the secondary.
Yeah,
The one guy on their defense is that Rousseau, the pass rusher, the defensive end. That's pretty strong, getting better. He's a young guy that they speak highly of. So I think they might have some troubles with him, and hopefully they don't bat down too many balls. I think the last couple games Burrow's been better with that.
Yeah, that's always been a bugaboo. But hey, you're not going to have a totally clean game all the time. It's felt for a reason. I mean, these are world class athletes. So there's going to be plays made everywhere.
I think the key tonight is the Bengals running game.
Yeah. No, and you know what? They're going to want us. I to be honest with you, this could come down to who has the ball last. I mean, it could be one of those games, but I just do not see any way where the Bengals offense doesn't put on a show tonight.
Well, I say that because, with the Bengals running game, they're going to run on first down a lot unless they switch some stuff up. So, at the beginning of the year, I think that's what their problem was. They were ending up in 2nd 8, 2nd 9 quite a few times. And then with the new right tackle, if you put him in a position where they know that a throw's coming, that's where they can get in trouble. Yeah. So I think the running game, if they can get some – 4 or 5 yards on first down, 3, 4, 5 yards, whatever it is, that's the key to the game.
Well, and they've been committed to that running game, even when it was only getting 1 or 2 yards, and that was in the year. But I'll tell you this, Zach will be very smart to let Joe, audible out of that, whatever he sees in Joe we trust, because I'll tell you right now, Joe's got his whole complement of weapons. Hayden Hurst is back in the fold. All 3 receivers are, in the game tonight, in Boyd, Chase, and Higgins. And then obviously we got P. Ryan and Mixon. I love the 1-2 punch. Keep them fresh. I mean, I just don't.
What about Irwin?
Oh, wait, hey, have Irwin rotating in there because hey, listen,
he played well.
I mean, let me ask you this: do you think Irwin's supplanting Boyd maybe as a third option on that receiving depth chart?
Man,
he's looked good.
Close. It's close. I mean, Boyd. I don't know, man. That's a great question.
Well, I to be honest with you, I just liked all the rotation. Yeah. Hey, keep it fresh because, and the great thing about Burrow is he just doesn't care. He's going to throw the open guy. Yep. He care less. All he is about is winning. On the flip side of the ball, defensively, William, what do you think that they will do to slow down this Bills attack?
Well, I think Logan Wilson is going to probably spy Allen a lot. Wouldn't you agree with me?
I would tend to agree with that. I mean, to me, I mean that's a good point. I think that they will do some spying, definitely. But I think what they're going to do is, hey, we're going to stop the run, and that includes Josh Allen, and we're going to make him beat you over top.
Okay.
think with that crowd noise being at full throat, there's going to be some mistakes happening.
Yeah.
And I just don't see where the Bengals will make enough big plays, whether be communication breakdowns along the Bills line, and they're going to get some sacks in there, Henderson and those guys, and then obviously we get what's his face back today too, don't we?
Oh, Hubbard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Well, he's a game time decision, but I think he's leaning towards playing. I did see an interview with Josh Allen today, and he specifically mentioned Jesse Bates. So
Okay.
he must have been watching some tape, said Bates is playing really well as a good safety. So, hey, can Bates get us a pick?
Hey, I think we're going to get a couple picks tonight off of Allen. Call me crazy. I just think he's going to press. Josh presses, man. I'm telling you. He presses and he likes his big gun arm. And I just think, and with the possible rainy conditions in that crowd, he's going to press, and there are going to be some turnovers to be had tonight.
I just think that, like I said earlier, the Bengals linebacking core, Pratt and Logan Wilson, have been playing lights out. They cause turnovers. They go for the ball. They're ball hawks. I think that goes in the Bengals' favor. One thing before I forget to mention, did you see Joe Mixon came out this week and basically said, "We the big dogs in the AFC"?
I did see that.
You like that?
I did like that. And I like that the Bengals, the Bengals are tired of that narrative. And you know what? They thought that they shook that narrative last year after the Super, but it's still hanging around. And you know what? Tired of it. And they keep shutting these people's mouths up. Tennessee, Miami, Kansas City, they've shut them all up, and there's still that narrative out there, and I don't understand it.
The most amazing thing to me is I get on like Monday or Tuesday online and look at NFL power rankings, and every week they still have the Chiefs in front of the Bengals in power ranking. I get it. They have a one game better record, but when you beat a team 3 times in 1 year and you still put – that's just, again, the national narrative just hasn't caught up. And I think that's going to change after the postseason.
Oh, I think that's going to change after tonight, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that better.
I tell you what, I think tonight, I think the Bengals will silence all those critics, and I think they're going to do it in a big way.
Okay. So in the rain, we haven't talked about the kicking game. McPherson struggled a little bit this season.
Yes, and you know what he has, and it all starts with that whole operation after Harris got, we got to watch Harris get knocked out of that opening game for the year, and he hasn't been comfortable the whole year. And and quite frankly, you took out Harris out of the equation, then you took out the one guy that he felt comfortable with, and I think was the whole reason he stuck around even at the beginning of this year. And Huber.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's just not comfortable or what the deal is, but you're right. He's been a little shaky.
Yeah. So that could, with the rain conditions, and Tyler Bass is a good kicker for the Bills. So if it comes down to the kicking game, that's the thing that worries me a little bit right now. So is it time for predictions?
I still think Money Mac we trust, especially with the game on the line. I still wouldn't trading for anybody. I like him as a big game kicker, and I think he'll have a big kick in this game tonight too.
Okay, I like it. So, what say you on the final score?
Wow, I mean, everything that I see and think, I think it's going to be a fun game. But I think there's going to be some turnovers in the game. The conditions, the magnitude of the game, there's always going to be mistakes. I mean, because people will press. But any way that I shake this out, I just think the Bengals win. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Bengals to the tune of 31-24.
31 to 7-point win. That's a big win in this matchup.
It is.
I like where your head's at. Obviously, we're homers. We're going to pick the Bengals, but I do really feel good about this game. All the things that we just discussed. I'm going to go Bengals 29, Bills 27. A little bit closer of a game.
Oh, very tight. Usually the the people in Vegas are pretty spot on that line, and obviously you're kind of hanging towards it. I just think our boy Joe is going to want to put on a show. I think, speaking of putting on a show, I think if he puts on the show that I personally think that he will, I think he will be in the pole position for that MVP.
Oh man,
wouldn't that?
These last 2 weeks are huge.
We haven't had that since Boomer.
Wow, it's time.
Yeah, it's time, and I think Joe's going to kick the door down for the MVP and for the Bengals to be possibly a number one seed if our beloved Raiders could knock off the Chiefs next week.
Wouldn't that be a great bookend? He starts out the year 0-2, playing just couldn't get past the appendicitis and all that took out of him, to end it on a run, beating the Bills and Ravens to win the MVP, take them into the postseason. That would be something else for Bengals fans.
Man, I tell you what, the excitement for the game tonight is just. That's all we all talked about even yesterday as we watched the Sunday games, and I capped it off with another fantasy championship, by the way, William. I don't know that yesterday.
Yeah, Jesus.
A shameless plug on my championship.
Poor Blake Roope.
Yes, no, but either way, it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. I can't wait to see. Do we know what the? I'm sure they always post it on their website. What's the uni combo tonight?
I believe it's black jerseys, white pants, and orange helmet. I think it's the Super Bowl combo.
Okay, now if they only wore the all white
twice
combo, did they do it twice? What was the other game?
I think it was Pittsburgh, Miami.
Okay. I really dig the.
I wish they were wearing it tonight. That would be. That would even make it more.
It feels like they should. It's kind of like Notre Dame when they always broke out the green unis. It was a special game.
Yeah.
The Bengals should have done the whole all white combo tonight.
Maybe they'll come out and surprise us. That would be great.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
But who knows? But hey, either way, I cut it. It's going to be a great game, and I just look for a lot of fireworks, and I just anticipate that the Bengals are tired of the narrative, and they're going to shut everybody up after tonight.
I like it a lot.
All right, guys. Well, we will be back to recap at some point during the week. After this big Bengals win, and as we push towards the playoffs, and we'll see you guys next week.
Who day?
Thanks.